So in this video, I want to talk about the user adoption of your Dynamics CRM system. The basic facts of the matter are you can build the best CRM system in the world, but if you can't get people to use it in a consistent and structured way, you're unlikely to generate much value. Yes, you could make a CRM system available to people who want to use it and they've got some tools that might help them be more effective at their job, or you might be able to provide some information through the CRM system that they can leverage. But the big paybacks from CRM systems come from when you embed core business processes in your CRM and streamline them and manage them better. And in order to do that, that requires consistent and structured usage of the system. If Richard doesn't use it, John does use it, but John uses it in a different way from Jane, we're not going to generate the intended value. So what I want to walk through here is what I think are the 8 key principles of user adoption. Now, the first is you've got to treat user adoption as a key part of your project. I think for a lot of people, it's probably 95% effort on building a system, 5% effort on getting people to use it. And that's because people think building the system is the hard part, which it is technically hard. And the user adoption is that sort of simple, fluffy bit at the end. But it's that simple, fluffy bit at the end that most people get wrong, and they struggle to get that adoption embedded. So you need to weight the project accordingly, and I'd say probably 50% of the effort should go into the system build, and 50% of the effort should go into the user adoption side, and not underestimate or under-resource that part. Principle 2, your CRM system's got to do something. It's got to do something that generates value for the business. If it doesn't, it just kind of exists and people are just there to update it, then you're really going to struggle to get user adoption of it. You need to have a system that generates value, and then you need to communicate back to users what's in it for them. Richard, yes, look, I know we're asking you to maintain data in the system, but if you can do that, then we can target marketing more effectively. If we can target our marketing more effectively, we're going to generate more leads. If we generate more leads, we're going to give you more leads. If you get more leads, you're going to make more sales, and you're going to earn more commission. So you've got to translate this back to what's in it for me. I think the third element is around setting expectations on use. Who's meant to be using it? What are they meant to be using it for? And precisely how are they meant to be using it in terms of supporting the processes that they're managing. And you need to do that through documentation. That needs to be set out through documentation and communicated back to those users so they understand that. Fourth element is really about training. Firstly, we do need good training when we're implementing a system, but we need to think about the fact we've got new users joining over time. People leave, new people come in. Also, things change over time. Interfaces change. We might introduce new features. We need to understand that people need to be trained to use that over the long term. I think the fifth element is around optimization of usage. The more we can streamline the usage of the system, the better. So if it takes 20 keystrokes or mouse clicks or whatever for somebody to perform a certain task, can we reduce that to 15? Can we reduce it to 12, to 10, to 5? If we can focus in on that, which is going to make it a lot easier for users, a lot easier for them to adopt it, less likely to stop using it. So that needs to be a process of constant and never-ending improvement. It's something we should be focusing on all of the time. I think the sixth principle is around burning the boats. Too often there are lots of different ways of doing things through the CRM system or outside of the CRM system. We need to remove those parallel systems. So if the only way of getting an order logged is to do it through the CRM system, people will do it through the CRM system. The only way to forecast is through the CRM system, people will forecast through the CRM system. You've got to remove those sort of redundant parallel systems and make sure there's only one way of doing things. I think the seventh principle is monitoring. You've got to keep an eye on people's usage patterns. You've got a system, you've got the data in the system, you've got the reporting tools to get that out. You can track the information you need, but you do need that mechanism. You can't just assume people are going to use it. You can't assume people are going to use it forever. It's something you need to constantly keep an eye on and be prepared to take action, appropriate action, if people are not using it or not using it in the way they should be. The final thing is around senior management support. Senior managers need to drive this. They need to be the cheerleaders for it. They need to be users of it. They need to be consumers of the data. We're in this world today where increasingly people's ability to leverage technology is going to be the fundamental determinant of business success or failure. And the use of CRM systems like Dynamics 365 for sales are going to be one of the fundamental determinants of that success or failure. And it's important that senior management buy into that. Anyway, those are what I see as the key principles of user adoption. If you've already got a CRM system and people aren't really using it, it's not too late. It's not a case you have to throw the system out and start all over again. If you apply these principles to your existing system, you can get it back on track again and get people using it and using it in the way they should. Anyway, hopefully that's been helpful. If you do have a Dynamics CRM system and you're not really sort of generating the value that you were hoping for, and you want some guidance on best next steps, then feel very free to reach out. I've put a link below. Always happy to have a chat about your particular situation and as to whether we can help or point you in the right direction. And also, we've got quite a range of Dynamics 365 for Sales videos on the channel, so feel very free to check those out. But thanks very much for your time today. Hopefully see you again soon.